Well, good morning. Oh. Welcome to this circle. I've been away on vacation for the month, and my first day back. Thank you for making it a warm welcome. It is good to be in community with you incredible people again, and to be able to spend the morning with each other. If you're here for the first time, welcome. If you're here for you've lost count how many times you've been here, welcome. Or somewhere in the middle, that's good too. Welcome to those of you who join us online, an important part of our community. Always, as we have spent time at home watching, we all know what that's like. And for those of you joining us either live or because you're doing something else and you'll connect with us at some point during the week, welcome to this gathering. Welcome. We are, whether we're in person or online, we're one community, and we find value in each other. And we'll have time a little bit later in the gathering too, when we share our joys and concerns and passions and issues and interests. We'll have chance to hear both from us in the room and from you online via our text line. So feel free to share with us your hearts and your minds as we share with each other later on. So welcome everyone to this place of exploration, this place of spiritual community and place of connection. We're a gathering of seekers, aren't we? Sometimes knowing exactly what we seek, and sometimes not sure, and happy to be open to whatever wisdom might be before us at any particular time. We are a community, as we know, committed to diversity, where all ages, sizes, colors, abilities, sexualities, genders, religions, many or none, are welcome and affirmed. And so today we light our community candle, as we do every time we gather, and we open ourselves to the deep wisdom of life, of living, of teachers, old and new, and we open ourselves to that wisdom, knowing that we're each important, each valued, each able to help each other live deeply and love deeply and make a difference in the world. And if we're not doing that with and for each other, then what are we doing? So we open ourselves to the wisdom each of us has to share with another, and how that might make our interaction and our connection with the world deeper and better. Today, we are beginning a new Sunday series, Something to Sing About. There's always something to sing about. Specifically, what we'll explore in the next number of weeks is what the music we sing here within this community, what does that say about us? What does it tell us about our values, our principles? What does it say about the kinds of lives we want to live and the world we want to create? How does it help us be clear about who we are and help us day in and day out with the task of living our lives and making decisions and encouraging the best in our relationships and our work and our play? So much of the music in today's gathering, it might not seem different from any other week, but the music in today's gathering was chosen specifically to help us express what we do together as community. Whether it's our focus as we gather, helping us to zero in and focus our time and let kind of the rest of our week go. Or maybe it's the way we share or pray, or the ways we seek wisdom with each other, or the ways we see ourselves as community and how that helps us when we leave this space. We will sing these songs, and we'll talk more about kind of what's coming up in this series as we explore the music we sing. So let's be invited into today's wisdom and music as a way to help us into the work of awareness. Let's sing with one another.
this time deepen our resolve to live in ways that build the world we want tomorrow. May this time inspire us to act, to live the words we say, to learn and grow in the shortness of our time. Each act of love a wonder sublime. May this time deepen our resolve to seek the light and help its brilliance grow. May this time deepen our resolve to live in ways that build the world we want tomorrow. May this time inspire us to act, to live the words we pray, to learn and grow in the shortness of our time. Each act of love a wonder sublime. May this time deepen our resolve to seek the light and help its brilliance glow. We will help love's brilliance grow.
Good morning. Great. I'm Ruth Stevenson, and I'm your gathering companion for this morning. I'm no longer an amateur. I'm turning pro. The lands on which Edmonton sits and the North Saskatchewan River that runs through it have been the sites of natural abundance, ceremony and culture, travel and rest, relationship building, making and trading for Indigenous peoples since time immemorial. Edmonton is located within Treaty 6 territory and within the Métis homelands and the Métis Nation of Alberta Region 4. We acknowledge this land as the traditional territories of many First Nations, such as the Cree, Dene, Nakota Sioux, Saulteaux, Blackfoot, and Papachase. May we respect and care for this land as these Indigenous peoples did, sharing its abundance with all.
Thank you, Ruth. In our time for all ages, we never worry about whether there are small people to gather on the carpet or whether they're at home or off doing summer things that they need to be doing, because this is the time for all ages. And so whatever wisdom here, we open to the whole community. And today is a particularly good one. They're going to be sorry they missed it. This is a book that took me completely by surprise because I was expecting one thing and I got that and about 5 other things in it. So I hope it does the same for you. It is called When We Love Someone, We Sing to Them. Story by Ernesto Javier Martinez and art by Maya Gonzalez. Those names are so fun to say. It's written in both Spanish and English. The other title is Cuando Amanos Cantamos, but I'm not going to read it in Spanish for you. I'll read it in English, and you'll be thankful. When we love someone, Poppy tells me, we sing to them. We send our love through song. We voice our heartfelt wishes. We craft soft music kisses. We call this a serenata. It's our way to hug with sounds. We call this Xochipilli's joy, when the feeling of blooming flowers and dancing butterflies abound. Like when we sang to Mum last May on Mother's Day, we sang softly in the morning. Do you remember we sang by her pillow? Poppy asks. Do you remember this soft feeling? A love cloud that billowed? I remember, Pappy. I remember. Mum was smiling with her eyes, and we sang gently. She hummed along and breathed in deeply. She touched your neck and whispered sweetly. I promise you, my son, Pappy tells me, when you start to feel the Xochipilli way, I will sing with you. It will be my honor. We will share what's in your heart someday. On a different day, I started thinking about my heart. My heart zoomed like a bird the day we met. My heart fluttered like the wind in the grass when you held my hand. My heart beat as loud as the rain the afternoon we spent together. And so one day I asked Pappy to help me sing my butterfly song, my serenade, for a boy in town, for a boy bright brown who smelled like fresh rain, wet earth, and lemonade. This boy is special, I told Pappy. He makes my heart hum and sing. At school, I never eat lunch without him. At recess, we squeeze together on the swing. Pappy remained quiet after I told him. He sighed, he turned his head, he looked out the window. But as soon as I saw where he was staring, I squealed. Look, Pappy, he lives that way, near the tienda by the willow. What song should we sing for your friend? Pappy asked. I said, teach me a song for a boy who loves boys. Pappy thought for a while, then he thought a bit more, saying, let's make a new song, a great song for your butterfly garden joy. Pappy drove me to the boy 3 days later. We practiced my new song, my new love song, the whole car ride there. And when we parked the car and tuned the guitar, Pappy hugged me and said, sing with flair. I cleared my throat, I sang my heart notes, and heard a window open. And there he was, Andres, my best friend, his smile, the brightest sunrise. My song to him, a small love token. Pappy tells me that my garden inside is sacred, deep-rooted, that it blooms butterflies, papalotl, like no one else's. He says that gardens like mine, even through droughts, have persisted. And he says that gardens like mine, if I sing them and care for them, will always exist. That is the end of the story. I want to tell you one thing about this little story. The author mentions serenatas, and it's wonderful. I'm just going to read to you about the author's note. Singing is important in this story, but serenatas are a very special form of singing. They're a Mexican tradition of singing to someone who you love. Serenatas are best done early in the morning or late at night, because the goal of singing a serenata is to surprise the person you love. Imagine them sleeping peacefully in their bed, and then like a dream, they hear beautiful music as they slowly open their eyes. When they realize where the music is coming from, they get up and see you outside their window or by their door, singing and smiling. In my imagination, Xochipilli, the Mesoamerican god of creativity and song, is flowing through you when you feel love and sing like this. Like 1,000 flowers blooming, Xochipilli is bringing joy to the one you love. Lovely. We'll spend a few moments with some invitations and some things that we need to know in the upcoming days and weeks here. And I want to start with the Edmonton and Saskatoon SSUC retreat that is being planned for September 8th to 10th. That's the weekend after the long weekend. There's lots of information online. You can see a website at the bottom of this screen. This is happening at Bright Sands Regional Park in Saskatchewan. And it's a chance for old friends and new to come. There are opportunities to camp. There are also opportunities for close B&Bs if a bed is more your style. And there's lots of information there of things that will happen together. As folks join together in some meaningful spiritual time, some nature time, and some community connection time. I'm going to ask, of course, if you're interested, please visit that website and register. I'm going to ask you a very specific question, though, today. If you're even thinking about it, don't even have to have decided. If you're thinking about it, think you might be interested, could you come and just say that to me afterward? Or if you're online, would you just send me a quick note about that? Because we just want to get, it's not the deadline yet, but we need a sense of numbers and how to proceed. So if you're remotely interested and thinking about it, please let me know that. Not a commitment, just an idea. Oh my gosh, this week Camp Explore was filling our building here with fun and excitement and energy, and it was really exciting. Is the chalk still on the sidewalk out there? Oh good, okay, excellent. We'll wait for a hard rain to take that away. But 10 kids that were here every day exploring nature and the cultures of the world, exploring the wisdom of the universe, exploring so many different things throughout the week, and we're excited to come every morning. We had one family that considered themselves camp connoisseurs, 3 kids that have been to many, many summer camps, and the report from these camp connoisseurs is that this is the best one they've ever been to. So we will have a chance in the fall to really thank Daisy and Ariane who planned and put this camp together, who led this camp through the 5 days of the week. Such amazing work they did, and kids that were thrilled to be here. So good things happening in terms of our children here. I think that's all I've got for now. I know there's a few of you that have some things to share with us. We'll start with May.
Good morning. I'm May Kellerman. I'm the vice chair, not the chair of vice, but the vice chair of the board. And I am just going to, it was in the e-messenger that we listened to many of the concerns of our community about holding the special congregational meeting today, and seeing the turnout, I understand why. We need more people in person when we make this very important decision about our forward path as a congregation, living out our vision and our values. So after today's gathering, there will be a Q&A session on the transition team report, so we can all ask our questions of members of the transition team. so that we can be better informed when we gather again on the 20th of August to have that very important meeting so that we can map our path forward. And I appreciate your patience with us as we work through this. So the 20th, 11:30 a.m. is the new date for the special congregational meeting. And today's, after the gathering, we will have a Q&A session where we can discuss a lot of the feedback that we've had from people and answer any questions you may have.
It can stay on. One additional note to today's meeting. You'll see on that screen where to find the link for today's meeting if you're at home and joining us online. Completely slipped my mind to edit that website. If you're looking to join from home for today's meeting and for the 20th, please, we're using the post-gathering reflections Zoom link. Same link. Please click on that to join us today at 11:30. Pam.
I'm Pam Boudelier, and next Sunday afternoon, we have this wonderful concert with two young artists, one from here in Edmonton. Some of you may have come last year to hear Christina play the harp, and she's going to be joined this year by a good friend of hers from the University of Toronto, Cunnan Bluer, and he plays the saxophone. So he's going to join her. They will do some individual numbers. They will also do some combined numbers. Who knows what that's going to sound like. I never thought a harp and a saxophone could go together, but we'll see. I'm sure they're creative and it'll be excellent. So it is by donation, by cash donation, and it is supporting the young artists as well as our refugee fund. So the proceeds will be split between the two. And I welcome you to come. It'll be a great concert, and I just wanted to draw your attention to it. It's been in the messenger for a while, but it's going to be awesome.
Hi, good morning, everybody. I think that we've had the chance to meet a lot of you, but my name is Kiana and this is Briggs. We run Camp Dragonfly. Camp is coming up really quickly on August 25th. So what we are looking for the week before, if anyone is a baker, I'm sure you're a much better baker than me. We are in need of a lot of muffins to feed those campers. You know that they're going to get hungry. We're going to be running around. So if you want to come find Briggs and I after service today, we have a sign-up sheet with a couple dates on it to invite folks to come to the SSUC kitchen and help provide the baking for some muffins for our campers.
So we'll just be in the back lounge back that way. If you're joining online and you want to send muffins our way, our email is not up there, but it's info@camp-dragonfly.com. We'd love to get in touch with you and chat about muffins. For those of you that have not heard of camp, we're a summer camp for trans and gender creative kids aged 6 through 13. It's a yearly event, and we're so excited that we have less than 3 weeks to count down. So if you want more information about camp or want to send muffins and love our way, we'll just be in the back there. Thank you.
We'll spend a bit of an extended time sharing our hearts with each other in this gathering today as a community. And we're going to start that with celebrating the life and honoring the death of two of our members of our community that have died in this past week. So let us acknowledge our sadness at the death of longtime member of this community, Vi Neufeld, who died on Tuesday, August the 1st. Now, Vi hasn't been present here on a Sunday morning for quite some years, but we remember her as a kind and thoughtful and sociable woman who was part of our community for so many years. And she loved hosting folks in her home. She loved any chance to kind of be a part of a church social event, and we remember her fondly. She's deceased by her husband by quite a few years, and leaves 4 daughters, Debbie, Michael, Gloria, and Cindy, as well as many grandchildren mourning her loss, as well as all her friends and community members here and in other places. A celebration of Vi's life will most likely take place at a date in September, though nothing is scheduled just yet. And so at this time we can celebrate the long life, the challenging struggle of Vi in these last years, but also the achievement of her life and her death as we mourn her loss. And so too do we also celebrate the life and honor the death of Virginia Sauvé, who died peacefully in the presence of her family and friends this week on Wednesday, August 2nd. Her 3 daughters, Monique, Madeline, and Morel, her 5 grandchildren, and she was predeceased by her son, Ben, who died when he was 17. We'll spend just a little bit of time talking about Virginia's life, as there won't be, by Virginia's request and her children's request, they will not have a celebration of life. So we'll just spend a moment, because Virginia means a great deal to this community, and we'll spend a moment just remembering who Virginia was. I remember Virginia as a woman of ideas. She had a keen interest in spirituality, in chaplaincy, in caring for others, but also in gathering leadership and what happens here and elsewhere on a Sunday morning for her spiritual communities. She was a member of our spiritual gatherings team, and she served the wider church as a supply lay minister, and served for a time as chaplain of Edmonton Presbytery in the United Church of Canada. So many of my colleagues know her around the city as someone who connected with them and cared for them. Virginia was an enthusiastic lifelong learner. She herself had a BA in sociology and linguistics and a Master's of Ed in educational administration, a PhD in curriculum theory, and she completed a 2-year program in spiritual direction as well. And she found success in her life doing what she loved the most as an innovative educator, primarily in English as a second language programs, literacy, and workplace education. She directed the Levi Strauss program, which ran for 17 years and taught over 200 learners. She taught at both the U of A, where she ran a summer program for Korean English teachers for 5 summers, and taught as an assistant professor at the University of Manitoba. Virginia experienced significant pain and health challenges over the last few years. And although there won't be a celebration of life service to honor her, she participated in her own very meaningful goodbyes and rituals over the last number of weeks and months, and met her death with courage. And so today we honor both Vi and Virginia with a song that helps us bring our voice to our memories, to our grief, to our celebration of these lives lived in community, knowing that we remember them and honor them.
Safe in the undying light of love. safe in the undying light of love. Safe in the undying light of love. All our laughter, all our grief, all our stories, all our joy, the one we now remember, the ones for whom we care, safe in the undying light of love. Safe in the undying light of love. Safe in the undying light of love. Safe in the undying light of love.
I open us into a time of more open sharing of our prayers, our hearts, our joys and sorrows, our passions and concerns, all those things that either weigh heavy on us or that bring us joy and light in our lives, that we can celebrate them and honor them together, because in the sharing there is lightness and there is community. So I invite all of us, there is a microphone here, and so when you have something to offer, I'll invite you to come forward and use the microphone and speak your prayer. We'll respond to every prayer with the response that you see on the screen right now. If you would like, at the end of what you have to share, to say in this sharing, we'll all respond with "May love abound." I invite those at home, seeing the phone number on your screen, to text in your thoughts and your prayers so that we can share them with the group. As you're thinking about those things, I want to share just a few things first. I'm sorry, Margaret, you're welcome to come. I'll just share a few things first because there are a few things that are exciting to share as well. After we just had some grief-filled moments there saying goodbye, we also have some things to share that are different than that. I want to talk to you for a minute about the Doctor of Ministry, the Honorary Doctor of Ministry at St. Stephen's College. The Doctor of Divinity, honoris causa, is awarded to individuals whose contributions reflect meritorious service, outstanding leadership in denominational or ecumenical contexts, and or outstanding commitment and contribution to ministry. The degree is awarded for excellence and or outstanding contributions in one of the following areas: pastoral or missionary experience, theological scholarship, faith and public life, community responsibility. So, we are very, very excited to announce that this year St. Stephen's has chosen Nancy Steeves as the recipient of the Honorary Doctor of Ministry. We certainly all agree that she deserves it. So Claire is here because Claire Woodbury has been key in the nomination process and in seeing to it that this could happen and that St. Stephen's was smart enough to select Nancy.
Well, it's been a team effort, and I just wanted to thank Chris and Pam and Marg Hetherington, for their support as part of the team that did the nominating. And I was very pleased, and the principal of St. Stephen's in his communication, and it's a little late coming out because they had to wait for Nancy to get back from vacation in order to accept this honor. And all of our lips were sealed until it could be accepted and announced by St. Stephen's. But the principal said that the strength of the presentation by this team showed the support for Nancy in this congregation. And I think you ought to give yourselves all a clap, because you're all responsible for this. There's no doubt about it. So thank you.
Thank you, Paul. So you better mark your calendars now. We need to fill Convocation Hall at the University of Alberta on October the 23rd to support Nancy and to cheer her on as she receives this momentous honor. And because this is the sharing of our hearts, the joy and the gladness, I'll say, in this sharing, may love abound. And because good news begets good news, I can't stop there. Many congratulations to Andrea Rubik and Dennis Laniak, who were married last Saturday, July 29th. So many congratulations to them as they start their married life together. Andrea's not in the booth today. You can see a well-deserved break. So our excitement with them, it was a lovely ceremony. I guess I can't say that, if I do say so myself. In this, yeah, we are excited for them. In this sharing, may love abound. And how about one more? Can we do one more? Look at this. Franklin Wayne Reeves Billick, born on July 21st. For Paige, Matthew, and Edison, welcoming that son and brother into their lives. A bit of a rocky start, a week in NICU, but home, healthy, and well, and they're all very happy. So in this sharing, may love abound.
I just wanted to share a little memory of Vi Neufeld. When my first daughter got married, she wanted a fruit cake with 3 tiers, and it was the times of dark fruit cakes, and I made 3 tiers of fruit cake, and then they wanted fruit cake to wrap up and give to everybody, so then I made trays of fruit cake. Well, I couldn't face dark fruit cake ever again. And I've never, ever made a dark fruit cake since. And so every Christmas, I make Vi Neufeld's fruit cake from the church recipe book. And sometimes I would phone Vi and say, I'm making your fruit cake today, you know. And so it's a lovely memory of her. And if you want it, it's in the First Church cookbook. I don't know whether it's a prayer, but may love abound for Vi.
This is from Nell, who says, great thanks for the safe arrival of baby Aurora, daughter of my niece Maria. This pregnancy was high risk for both mom and baby, so we celebrate Aurora's safe welcome to the world. In this
Well, this is a very special day for me. It would have been Bob's 80th birthday today. And so many of you don't know my husband at all, of course. We have such a thriving congregation of new people over these last 8-9 years. But Bob was in ministry leadership here at Southminster Steiner from, let me think, 1994 to 2003. And he just loved being in ministry here. He so appreciated this opportunity to grow and be with people and love life. And today's theme, my goodness, Bob had an amazing tenor voice, and singing was his life. Thank you, Chris, for today.
May love abound.
I just want to say how wonderful the people in this congregation are. I had a dumb traffic accident a week ago today. Pam Boutelier stood there and made darn sure I survived. And Donna Hodgins called me twice to see how things were. The friendship of this congregation is extraordinary. Thank you all so much. In this sharing, may love abound.
Scott Kearns, who's given us another song to sing to those we love.
Prayer song. In times of sadness, when life brings fear or pain, seasons of grieving, when loss seems more than gain, in word and deed, may our love surround you. In these our times of need, may love abound. In times of gladness, when life brings happiness, seasons of pleasure, when work has brought success, we celebrate. In our hearts we join you. In these abundant blessings we share the joy. In joy or sorrow, as life brings what it brings, trial or triumph, together we will sing. May love abound as we share our blessings. Together our hearts join. We pray as one.
I'm singing in the rain, just singing in the rain. What a glorious feeling, I'm happy again. There was a time when we all used to sing. We sat around campfires at church and at school. We sang our stories and our dreams. We sang alone and we sang together. Nowadays, not many of us sing. We think we can't because at some stage someone has told us to be quiet. Or some of us judge ourselves against the celebrities we idolize. Our voices have been silenced and it's not doing us any good. There's a taboo about speaking or singing in public. We think that people will judge us or make fun of us. Yet we were all given a voice to tune in and to express ourselves. One of the great things about singing is that it really connects you to the right side of your brain. The right hemisphere of our brain is responsible for our intuition, imagination, and all our creative functions. It connects us to a world of possibilities and all that is. The brain is like a battery. The right side charges it, and the left side uses the energy and empties it. So our goal is always to keep our mental battery charged up. However, we live in a world where we're constantly assaulted with so much information to process and analyse. We talk more to boxes and screens than we do to one another. And so it becomes fundamentally important to nurture the attributes of human beings that set us apart from machines. Love, compassion, kindness, caring, determination. The neuroscience of singing shows that when we sing, our neurotransmitters connect in new and different ways, firing up the right temporal lobe of our brain, releasing endorphins that make us smarter, healthier, happier, and more creative. And you know what's really great about this? When we do this with other people, the effect is amplified. A recent study measured the levels of oxytocin, the hormone responsible for pleasure, love, and bonding, in a group of people before and after singing sessions. And the levels increased significantly after the singing sessions. Further international research shows the benefits of singing for learning and language and other skills, and for healing strokes, speech abnormalities, and depression. And when we sing together like we just did in harmony, not only do we get goosebumps and tingles and crescendo together and breathe together, but a recent study actually showed that our hearts start beating together. I mean, this is a super duper drug. It's free, accessible to all. We all have a voice.
In this wisdom from a singer, a social innovator, and speaker, may we find wisdom for our living.
We find wisdom and for our living, found in the wonder of song and story. May we find wisdom, deep living wisdom, within the reach of our own thought and word and breath. May we find wisdom meant for our living, found in the wonder of song and story. May we find wisdom, deep living wisdom, within the reach of our own thought and word and breath.
Tanya de Jong is right about a number of things in that video clip, but in day-to-day life, most people don't have opportunities to sing with other people. We are some of the exceptions. I mean, after childhood and nursery rhymes and kids' songs and music class, most folks don't have a place to sing together. There's the odd national anthem. But honestly, unless you consider yourself a singer or are part of a choir, churches, spiritual communities, are one of the few places that we can put our voices together with others. And like she mentions, there are plenty of folks who think they can't sing or who've been told they aren't good singers, and so they've just never continued after that or just feel that they won't. This is, not just in my opinion, but in many, this is rubbish. I'm not one of those people that can say, everyone is a beautiful singer. That's not true. We're not all soloists. We're not all about to go out and record our first album. But here's the thing. If we can breathe and make a sound out of our mouth, we can sing. And the wonderful thing about singing in community is that you can even be pretty bad. It doesn't matter. It just does not matter because there's other people singing around you. And the more we do it, the more we start listening to other people and kind of figuring out our own voice. We don't even need singing lessons. We don't even need someone to tell us, you know what? When you are singing this note, that's not the right note. We usually hear it. And as soon as we start hearing others do it, we start learning about what our voice is doing and how we control it. And if you choose not to sing and not to participate, I mean, of course, that's okay, right? I mean, we don't force participation in anything. It's all right. It's okay. But it doesn't matter how we do it. That's the thing about singing together. Everyone participates in the way they need, but the benefits are available to us because of that we do it, not because of how we do it. The great thing about compassionate community is that we start listening to each other. And we learn from each other, and we figure it out, and we blend together. Even if that means you're not going to be kind of at the head of the choir and holding a microphone or doing any of that, it doesn't matter. We might be just quietly singing to ourselves as we hear the voices around us even better. Beyond the science that Tanya DeYoung mentions to us about the physiological and psychological benefits of singing together, we are doing something else too. We're tapping into an emotional vocabulary, an emotional intelligence that isn't available to us with words alone. If I can go back in our own tradition for a bit, the Christian tradition, there are whole books of the Bible that are songs. But we've lost the song part and we have the words. That is a bit of a tragedy. And plenty of people have put those songs back to words, not a problem. But we think of these as just words. But for millennia, people of spirit have said, there's something important that we need to sing. We can't just say them. We can't just read the words. There's something about singing. And maybe you'll agree, there is something about singing. When we put melody to rhythm, to our heart's yearnings, and put all of that together with our feelings and what is most central to our lives, and give them expression, there is immense emotional power in that. Words don't often bring us to tears, but when you put those words to music, oof, the heart just seems to express. And even if we don't want it to come out, it comes out. Tears often flow in our singing in ways that can't be released in any other way. Fears and anxieties can find an outlet in ways that they just can't by gripping the arms of your chair or by expressing with words. Sometimes we need to put that song on our headphones, right? Just to feel what we're feeling. We don't feel quite as lonely in our grief. The act of celebration feels a bit more shared, like sharing our love when it's sung. Author Oliver Sacks writes this: "Music, uniquely among the arts, is both completely abstract and profoundly emotional. It has no power to represent anything particular or external, but it has a unique power to express inner states or feelings. Music can pierce the heart directly." We know this without anyone telling us this. Susie Zumpe, which is a fantastic name, creative director of ENO Breath, which is a joint initiative of the English National Opera and the Imperial College Healthcare NHS Trust. Now that's a weird combo, opera and the NHS. Anyway, they remind singers of the power of lullabies. This is really interesting to me. When we think of lullabies, we think of soothing a baby and getting them to sleep, stopping them from crying or trying to lull them. But what is generally underestimated, according to this group, is the power of singing a lullaby to soothe the singer. The singer, the parent, anyone singing that lullaby. And as I started to think about this, I started to be quite amazed, and it started to connect for me, because when you breathe in to communicate a lullaby's message, you breathe differently than you would breathe in to communicate something else. Choir directors know this. Any good choir director I've ever seen have long used this technique to get a whole group of people to approach the mood, the expression of a piece of music in the correct way. And they say, it's all about the breath you take. So, you can see a conductor that, wants something forceful and impactful, bring the singers in with a breath move like this. Well, they're going to get a certain response to that, aren't they? It's probably going to be like Beethoven's Ninth Symphony when the choir enters on beat 4. But when that director wants a soft, gentle sound, the instruction for the choir to breathe is very different. And this group is saying that the lullaby is the same way. The way we breathe is the way we exhale. The way we breathe in is the way we exhale. Does that sound a lot like meditation to you? Because it does to me. And it should. Breathing together, tuning to each other, syncing our breathing in the same value, in the same expression, making sound and music together. All of that contributes to the bond that we have with each other. Speak to any member of this church choir, and they are something else in terms of the connection that they have with each other. That's not just because they happen to see each other on, Thursday nights and then again on Sunday. There's something about breathing and singing together that bonds a group of people together. We, whenever we're a gathered community, are that same choir. When we do these very personal, meditative, emotionally healthy, expressive tasks with each other, the very act of singing together bonds us as community. I think spiritual community has known that forever. Ernesto Javier Martinez speaks this so lyrically and beautifully in his book, even in the title of his book. When we love someone, we sing to them. And this idea of the, what was it called again? Sorry, I lost it. Thank you. Yes, serenata. Oops. The idea that you do it gently. I'm gonna quote from you another. You need to read this book because the author's notes are almost as long as the story itself. He writes again in this book. None of the songs of my Latino community included love between boys. As a young gay boy, this brought me sadness and left me concerned that my feelings were not important to those around me. I grew up loving music. There's pictures of him and his dad with the guitar, him and his brother. He grew up loving music, loving my community and family, and sad about not being included. So I stopped singing. Inside, I wanted a song, a healing, loving song. And a community that I could trust would listen and sing it with me. Over the next few weeks, we're going to explore various songs that we sing. We're going to do it more specifically than we're doing today. Today is just a little, taster. We're going to explore some songs that we sing, some that I've written, some from our other favorite writers and composers, and some music that we can explore its spiritual meaning, its significance for us to sing, what it says when we sing them, and what it says that we sing them together. So we'll explore some of those songs, our connection to each other and the world that they express, and the expression of our hearts in ways that we have a healing, not just one, but many healing, loving songs. And celebrate that we have a community that we can trust to listen to them and to sing them with each other. So may it be so, and may we enjoy the song.
Will we beloved that green sure as spring, and deepens in summer, and the autumn brings, with its still in winter in spiral away. Together, my friends, will we bond, will we bond. Will we beloved that opens our eyes to see one another beyond a disguise, where trust like water will wash away lies. Together, my friend, will we bond, will we bond. And that feels friend, that bends friend, that rises and turning then yields friend, like the mountains to rain, or frost in the spring, or darkness that turns with the dawn. It's by turning, 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 my friend, by turning that love moves on.
Let's join together in this prayer to strengthen our intentions. May the sounds of our lives be filled with melody and lyrics that affirm encourage, cherish, and impact our world in positive ways. We celebrate with joyous refrain, but we also sing with those who grieve, who struggle to voice their challenges, especially those who have lost their voice and feel silenced or oppressed. There are many singing freedom songs around our world, and so we sing in solidarity for safety and health of all who sing, and the strength of those songs to bring change, work for peace, and end war. We affirm that we all have a part and are invited into the singing. May we know that together we create that which can make the world more beautiful. As the music we hear and the songs we sing in this community come back to our hearts and minds throughout the week, may we be reminded of the values on which we're centered, the love with which we live, and the rhythm of compassion and justice that direct the music. May it be so.
And so we change the light so that we might be changed, so that we might go from this time to the next time, knowing that the light remains with us, in us, and among us.
Awaken to our deep compassion, to share us bread and walk the ways of peace. Love strong enough to overturn injustice, to seek a world more gracious. Let hearts awaken now. Let minds be challenged and engaged in reason. Let thoughts be free to question and to dream, and open doors to ever-growing wisdom, and truths that foster freedom. Let minds be challenged now. Let wills grow stronger by renewed commitment to sacred ground.